Hello, dear students. Today, our topic is fetal circulation. So, in order to understand the topics in cardiovascular system, cardiovascular disorders, we have to clearly understand what is fetal circulation and what are the important uh, blood flow, the pattern of blood flow in fetal circulation, which is extremely different from the adult circulation. Okay, so we can discuss it in detail. So first we can see what are the differences between fetal and newborn circulation. So before birth and after birth, what are the differences between the circulation? The fetus receiving oxygen from the placenta and the newborn through the lungs after the birth. Okay, the fetus received oxygen from the placenta and through the lungs after the birth. So before birth we are receiving oxygen from the placenta, that is the blood which is receiving or which is coming to the placenta from the maternal side, and after birth it is received from the lungs. So there is a structural differences where the oxygen exchange is happening before birth and after birth. Okay. The next one is the fetal liver does not have the metabolic function that it will have after birth, because the mother performs these functions. Metabolic activities, everything is performed by the mother for the fetus. That's why the metabolic products also will be present in this blood which is receiving from the mother side. Okay, so after birth the liver will be functioning for its own body, but for a fetus these oxygenation, metabolism, everything is performed by the mother. And this is one of the most important differences between the fetal and newborn circulations. Okay, the temporary structures which is involved in the fetal circulation, in the term itself, it is temporary. So after birth we cannot see these old structure in the newborn baby. So the two umbilical arteries and one umbilical vein, two umbilical arteries and one umbilical vein, and these are the three shunts, that is ductus venosus, foramen ovale and ductus arteriosus. So these are some of the temporary structures which is actively involved in the fetal circulation. Okay, umbilical arteries and vein, ductus venosus, foramen ovale, ductus arteriosus. Okay, so we can see these three shunts, what is their action in the fetal life. Okay, ductus venosus, it will be connecting the umbilical vein to the inferior vena cava. So we will be discussing in detail in the next slides. Ductus venosus, what is acting is, it will be helping to connect the umbilical vein into the inferior vena cava. And the second one is ductus arteriosus, which will be connecting the main pulmonary artery to the aorta. And the third shunt, it is foramen ovale, that is an anatomic opening between the right and left atrium. So between the right and left atrium there is opening foramen ovale. Between the main pulmonary artery or pulmonary trunk and to the aorta there is ductus arteriosus, and there is a ductus venosus which is connecting the umbilical vein to the inferior vena cava. So these are the again temporary structures which helps in the blood shunting. Okay, so we can see what is happening before birth. So before birth what is happening is the down portion, it is the placenta. From the placenta, umbilical vein will be taking blood, that is a purified blood, and it will be connected to the inferior vena cava with the help of umbilical vein. So the umbilical vein will be connected to the inferior vena cava with the help of ductus venosus. Okay, there is a connection between umbilical vein and the inferior vena cava with the help of ductus venosus, and this blood from the lower extremities which is taken by the inferior vena cava and the umbilical vein which is connecting to the ductus venosus and which is reaching in the inferior vena cava will be opening into the right atrium. Okay, so when the blood is reaching in the right atrium, what will be happening is the blood stream is dividing into two portions. Okay, blood stream in the right atrium is divided into two portions. Okay, so this portions will be some 1/3 of the total blood which is coming into the inferior vena cava into the right atrium will be entering into the left atrium with foramen ovale. Okay, 1/3 of the blood which is reaching from inferior vena cava in the right atrium will be crossing the foramen ovale to reach the left atrium. Okay, and after that the remaining 2/3, okay, 1/3 is reached in the left atrium, remaining 2/3 is coming down with the superior vena cava blood from the upper extremities, upper part of the body. Inferior vena cava blood 2/3 plus the superior vena cava blood from the top will be coming down to the right ventricle. Okay, that is the blood flow which is happening from right atrium. Some amount 1/3 is going to the left atrium, and the 2/3 along with the superior vena cava blood, it is coming down to the right ventricle. Okay, now what happens to the blood which is coming into the left atrium is, so the blood which is coming from the left atrium will be from right atrium some amount, and also the pulmonary veins will be carrying some amount, very few amount of blood to the left atrium. So this both will be coming down to the right left atrium, left ventricle. Left atrial blood will be coming to the left ventricle, and again it will be carried through the aorta to distribute in the different parts of the body, coronaries, head and the extremities. The remaining blood which is coming in the right ventricle, so in that blood some amount of blood will be taken into the pulmonary trunk to lungs for the growth of lungs. Okay, the remaining blood from the pulmonary trunk, it will be going to the aorta through ductus arteriosus. So more amount of blood will be coming to the aorta from ductus arteriosus, and it will be circulated through the aorta and other extremity parts. It will be coming from the aorta arteries, it will be distributed. Finally, there will be two umbilical arteries. It will be taking the deoxygenated blood into the placenta, and it will be again recirculation will be happening. So this is the placental circulation or the fetal circulation with the help of placenta. So hope you all are clear. Again one more discussion. I am making a flow chart with the same explanation. So now we know that the placenta will give the umbilical vein. So from the umbilical vein, placenta will be from the placenta, the umbilical vein will be taking much amount of blood. With the help of ductus venosus, it will be opening to the inferior vena cava. So from the inferior vena cava, it will be directly opening into the right atrium. Okay, in the right atrium there is division of the blood is happening. So from the upper body part, superior vena cava will be carrying some amount of blood into the right atrium, and the inferior vena cava is also carrying much amount into the right atrium. So it will be dividing by, inferior vena cava blood will be divided by 1/3 and 2/3. So 2/3 of the blood which is coming from the inferior vena cava and the superior vena cava blood directly enters the right ventricle, and it will be pumped into the pulmonary trunk. Okay, from the pulmonary trunk some amount of blood will be going to lungs for purification. Okay, purification and also the growth of the pulmonary area. So this is happening, And what is happening to the 1/3 of the blood which is remaining in the right atrium? It will be crossing the foramen veil and it will be reaching the left atrium. Okay, along with that, the few amount of blood which is already went to the lungs will be coming back through the pulmonary veins into the left atrium. Okay, so when it is reaching the left atrium, so 1/3 of inferior vena cava blood and the pulmonary vein blood which is coming from the lungs, very few, this both from left atrium, it will be reaching the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, it will be pumped into the aorta. Along with that, more amount of pulmonary trunk blood will be carried to the aorta with the help of ductus arteriosus. Okay, with the help of ductus arteriosus, more amount of blood will be pumped into the aorta. So this amount of blood will be carried to the systemic circulation, and finally umbilical arteries will be carrying the blood to the placenta for purification. So one thing you can notice in this circulation is, like normally the pure blood we will be indicating with the color red. Hope you all are clear with that. Normally in pictures we will be representing pure blood with the color red. So here from the placenta up to ductus venosus, the color is red, and after that it will be getting mixed because the inferior vena cava is already carrying impure blood from the lower part, and from the ductus venosus it will be mixed with the blood that is coming in the inferior vena cava. So the entire circulation in the fetus is with the mixed blood except the liver, because umbilical vein will be giving a branch to the liver that will be giving pure blood. Only organ which is getting pure blood in fetal circulation is liver. Hope you all are clear with this color identification. So entire body, entire fetus except liver is getting mixed blood, not the impure blood, mixed blood with pure and impure blood, which is happening from the inferior caval position onwards. Okay, so hope you all are clear with the fetal circulation. So in the previous picture also you can see the same. So the color differences, the red color is only up to the inferior vena cava position. So when it is reaching at the ductus venosus, in reaching to the inferior vena cava, the blood gets mixed. Okay, now the red color is changed into maroon or some mixed color. So that is the mixing of the blood is happening, and that's why this color indicates the fetus is getting mixed blood except liver. So that is the importance of liver, the organ, and we have to give special care for handling this liver. So now we can see what is the change after birth. Okay, so the major change which is causing the changes in the fetal circulation after birth is because of this cutting of umbilical cord. Okay, cutting of umbilical cord will be happening. So at birth the placental circulation will be causing the cessation of the placental circulation with the clamping of the cord or the cutting of the cord. Okay, so this will cause sudden increase in the systemic vascular resistance. The systemic vascular resistance, like suddenly stopping when the pipe is on, when we are suddenly stopping the flow, there will be a pressure will be generated. The same thing will be happening in the systemic vascular resistance also. Again it will cause the aortic blood pressure increase, left ventricular systemic pressure increase. Okay, so these are the some of the changes which happens after birth. Okay, so now what we are going to start as the cord clamping or cessation of placental circulation by cord clamping or cutting of the cord, umbilical cord. So with that, this umbilical vein, umbilical arteries and the placenta is going to disappear. Okay, is going to disappear. So I am cutting the clamp or cutting the cord, or with the clamp we are cutting. Okay, that is happening. So here we all, the baby is disconnected from the placenta of the mother, and umbilical vein and umbilical arteries are disconnected. Okay, so now the ductus venosus, what change will be happening is the loss of placental flow or decreased volume of blood in the ductus venosus. Ductus venosus will cause the dystrophy of the ductus venosus. Ductus venosus will be causing, and it will be atrophied, and it will be disappearing by 7th postnatal day of life. Okay, by the complete cessation will cause nearly 7th day the ductus venosus will be disappearing. Okay, and next what the change will be occurring is the pressure changes. The pressure changes will the pressure changes between the right and left atrium, because already we discussed that the systemic circulation, the pressure is increasing than the right side. Okay, so that will cause this pressure differences between the right atrium and the left atrium will cause the foramen ovale to close. Okay, and the next change is the pressure differences and the volume change, and also the oxygen amount in the circulation increases when the respiration starts. Okay, when the child starts breathing, the another change which is happening is the pure and impure blood will be starting. So because of this oxygen content increase in the blood, this will cause the ductus arteriosus to become atrophied. Okay, so ductus arteriosus atrophies because of the increased oxygen content in the blood when the respiration starts. Because we know that till now the child was getting mixed amount of blood or mixed blood. Now when the child starts respiration, it does remain like the oxygen content is increasing in the child's blood. So that caused the atrophy of the ductus arteriosus. Okay, then what happens is the connection between the systemic circulation and the venous circulation re-establishes. So now the baby will be in the normal adult circulation, that is from the lower extremities. The inferior vena cava will be taking blood to the right atrium. It will be coming to the right ventricle, and from the right ventricle the blood will be pumped into the pulmonary trunk, and the pulmonary trunk will be carrying the blood to the right and left lungs, and where the oxygenation will be happening to the blood, and it will be the pure blood will be carried into the pulmonary veins, and it will be taken into the left atrium. It will be coming into the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle aorta will be taking the pure blood, and it will be circulated through the systemic circulation, and the venous blood will be coming back again to the inferior vena cava and the superior vena cava, and the circulation continues. Okay, so this will be the circulation. Okay, so what happens to these special structures after birth? So umbilical arteries atrophy, umbilical veins becomes the part of the fibrous support ligament for the liver. The foramen ovale, ductus arteriosus, ductus venosus atrophy and become fibrous ligaments. So these are the changes which happens to the temporary structures of fetal circulation. Okay, so we can compare the fetal and infant circulation. So infant high pressure system. So systemic circulation is with high pressure, left to right blood flow. Then lungs are functional, decreased pulmonary resistance and increased systemic resistance. Okay, so these are the things which is seen in infant. And in a fetus, low pressure system, there is no pressure difference is that much comparing to an infant circulation. Right to left functioning is happening, because in fetus more amount of blood is in the right side than in the left side, but in an infant it is more in the left side than in right side. Lungs are non-functional, increased pulmonary resistance, and it is decreased in infant, and in systemic resistance it is decreased than in infant. So these are the some of the differences between the fetal and infant circulation. Okay, so hope you all are clear with the fetal circulation. Thank you very much.